So with Pokemon this year in 2023, of course the main series content that we're getting is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC with the hidden treasure of Area Zero, and we already got part 1, the Teal Mask, which came out last month, and we're all anticipating what the Indigo Disk is going to bring as the final part to the DLC, and it's going to be like the entire conclusion to the stuff that was introduced with the Teal Mask, as it's going to have returning characters like Kieran and Carmine, and it's also going to have some new things as well as like this new Pokemon Terapagos and all of that, so we're really anticipating what it's going to be, as it does seem to be looking like the more exciting DLC compared to the Teal Mask. And so Riddler Khu on Twitter, if you don't know, he is the most accurate leaker that we have when it comes to Pokemon stuff, and he's gotten stuff correct about multiple Pokemon games for the last few years now, so he's definitely a reputable source that we have when it comes to information, and he always gives information in terms of like little teases and riddles about exactly what this new stuff is going to be in upcoming Pokemon related stuff, and it seems like now we might have a lot of information about exactly what the Indigo Disk is going to bring in terms of its content. And the first thing we have is the counting rumor, where for the last few days Riddler Khu has been counting up in terms of new Pokemon related things that he's been posting, and so the very first day it was the Pokemon Dino, which was 1, and then we had Doduo, which was 2, then we had Magneton, which was 3, and then we had Probopass, which was 4, and it seems like we actually got a follow-up to that with something else. And so the next thing that we got in terms of this counting rumor was the Riddler tweeted right here saying PPKD number 289 banner version. So we didn't know exactly what this meant. It turns out it actually means Paldea Pokedex number 289, look at the banner. So if we actually go into the Paldea Pokedex and look at 289, the Pokemon ends up being Wugtrio. Now Wugtrio, he said to look at the banner version for like the picture that we see for that Pokemon in the Pokedex, and if we do that, it turns out it's actually this image right here, where if we now count the number of heads, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is basically a clever way of getting to the number 5, as I don't think that there's actually any Pokemon with 5 heads or anything related to that. So this was kind of a clever like little loophole to still be able to count 5. And yeah, so now we know that it is still counting 5 even after Probopass. And then after that, the next thing that the Riddler tweeted was this image right here of Scovet, Greedent, Wooloo, Dubwool, and then Zacian and Zamazenta. Now, it looks like at first that these are just a random group of Gen 8 Pokemon, but it turns out all of these were actually added into Pokemon Go along with another Pokemon as well. So you can see right here from this list, the only one that is missing is the Pokemon Phalanx, which Riddler Khu did not put in his image. And Phalanx, of course, if we count the number of like little things that are on it would be 6 total things. So yeah, it seems like now we are still once again counting to 6, but it seems like now that is pretty much the conclusion to this whole counting riddle, or what exactly it means. And now we're not really sure, because at first we were thinking maybe this was going to be something about the next year's Pokemon game, where it was going to be like something about the Black and White or Unova games, but now it seems like maybe it could be something related to the Indigo Disk. I'm not exactly sure, but all we know is that we've definitely counted from 1 to 6, but we don't know exactly what the significance of all of this is yet. Now the next piece of information that we have is about what the Paradox version of Entei is going to look like, as of course we saw one for Raikou and we saw one for Suicune, but we still have Entei missing, and of course we also have one of the other Pokemon from the Swords of Justice that are missing as well, so I'm sure we're going to be seeing Terrakion get something as well. And so yeah, we're going to be taking a look at exactly which one of those that could be, as right here we can see that Soul Silver Art was kind of speculating about which dinosaur it could be based off of, as obviously the one for Suicune and Raikou have been based around dinosaurs, and then Riddler Khu actually quote tweeted this by saying Billy. Now of course, when you hear Billy, it's just very random. It's just a name. You're thinking like, well, how is that going to relate to Entei or anything like that? Turns out Billy is actually related to a Triceratops Power Ranger, which I found this out on Twitter, but yeah, it seems like a Triceratops Power Ranger had like the nickname Billy or something. So now it seems like it's going to be related to a Triceratops, which means expect the Paradox version of Entei to have some type of Triceratops-like design. Now there was also this image that was tweeted by the Riddler where it's a Poochyena that's basically poisoned or something, and it says which matches better, so it gives you like 3 different options. To be honest, I have no idea exactly what this means. I don't think it means that Poochyena is going to be getting like a new form, or it's going to be poison type or anything like that. Some people are thinking that maybe this is referring to the Pokemon that's going to be like the mythical Pokemon, and maybe the mythical Pokemon is going to be a poison Pokemon, as I think the lore for the Pokemon Okidogi, which was a part of the Teal Mask, was something along the lines of it being just a normal Pokemon, but then the toxic chain that it got around it is what caused it to turn into the Pokemon that it is. So maybe it's possible that this like mythical Pokemon is going to be a poison type, and it's going to be the result of like the toxic chain, and it's going to be the cause of all of that, which would be actually some really cool lore to all of these Pokemon. Now, another thing that was also posted was this QR code right here, which somebody actually scanned using the island scan feature from the Gen 7 games, and it turns out it's for the Pokemon Barbaracle, which also now if we take a look at that Pokemon, it also has multiple heads. And it definitely seems like Riddler Khu has been teasing a lot with Pokemon that have multiple heads and things like that, which now is making a lot of people think that maybe this is referring to a new mythical Pokemon, because we still don't know anything about the Generation 9 mythical Pokemon. So maybe it's going to be something along those lines, or maybe it's going to be about the Dipplin evolution, as we know that Dipplin is 100% going to have some type of evolution in the Indigo Disk. That was figured out because people were speculating because there was a blank spot left in the code for like another Pokemon that came after Dipplin, but in order to make sure that it wasn't like a standalone Pokemon or anything like that, turns out if we actually give the Eviolite to Dipplin, it actually has its stats get impacted, which means that it can still evolve. So yeah, we're definitely getting a Dipplin evolution, so maybe it's going to be something along the lines of it having multiple heads, like how this Pokemon does as well, and a lot of the other Pokemon that Riddler Khu has also shown. So that's a possibility as well, and it definitely seems like even Central Leaks has been saying that it's going to have multiple heads on it, so it seems like that could be the kind of direction that this Dipplin evolution is going to go. Now, Riddler Khu also tweeted this image right here of a grass type and a bug type, saying which one are we going to get. So a lot of people are thinking that this is probably referring to the Dipplin evolution. So maybe it's possible that Dipplin's evolution is going to be either a grass and dragon like we originally thought, or maybe it could actually change into a bug and dragon. And this would be the first ever bug and dragon Pokemon that we would have, and it would be very awesome. I mean, Flygon was one of the biggest missed opportunities ever for being a bug and dragon type, so the fact that we never have gotten an official bug and dragon is kind of criminal at this point, so I'd be very happy if this was the first ever bug and dragon Pokemon. And finally, the last bit of information that was tweeted right here was this image of Kieran, where it says right here, what will he snatch from you this time in the second DLC? By the way, he is fully armed. Now, I don't know exactly what he means by fully armed, like maybe he has like really strong Pokemon now, he's gonna have a whole team of 6 or something. That would be awesome. I actually really hope that it kind of goes into like the whole lore with Terapagos and all of that as well. Like if Kieran gets into that type of stuff, I think it would be interesting. To be honest, I actually really want to make a video about Kieran because I think he's a very interesting character that Pokemon has never really tried to do before. So if you guys are interested in that, if this video can reach like 200 likes, maybe I'll make a video about that over the weekend, because it is going to be a video that I'm going to have to spend a little bit more time on. But yeah, I do think that Kieran is going to have the possibility of being a really cool character inside of this DLC, so it should be very cool to see what they decide to do with him. But yeah, those are pretty much all of the teases and riddles that we have right now for the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Indigo Disk DLC. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel, as well as I'm going to be talking more about the Pokemon DLC as more information comes out. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this. Would you be excited to see a Triceratops Entei-like design, as well as what this counting rumor could mean and some of this other stuff? Definitely be sure to comment all of your thoughts and your ideas for exactly what these riddles could mean down below. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.